What's good, everybody? Kenneth Barry here. Another episode of Touchdowns and Tangents. Pete's on the way. Little emergency. No biggie. Things happen. But man, we are at the end of April. Thankfully, all here in one piece. You know, it could be much worse, but it isn't. So let's just all be thankful for that. And most importantly, man, we're thankful for everybody who listens. We're thankful for everyone who still hangs in, still looks for us for their football news, their content. We're thankful for all our affiliates, obviously, first and foremost. Good News Radio, Good News Sports, the Good News Sports. If you're not listening on the app right now, you should. It's a hell of an app. You know, if not there, at least Spreaker. Good News Sports, the Good News Sports. Shout out to Courtside Radio, who was on earlier. They holding it down. I just want everyone to know, if y'all really think LeBron James wouldn't be getting into fist fights in the 1980s, y'all really got it messed up. Like, Kobe was allowed to fight during his career. LeBron has pretty much been not allowed to fight most of his probably basketball career. Because someone that big ain't allowed to get into fist fights and hit people. But I'm pretty sure if he was back in the 80s and was allowed to punch Bill Laimbeer in the face, like, there's a reason why he's a freak of nature and was one of the most highly touted high school football prospects. There's a reason for it. Dude's just not in the gym working 24 hours a day for no reason. But anyway, X-Squad affiliates, shout out to y'all. Shout out to Full Press Coverage, the whole family. Shout out to everyone who's listening. We appreciate you. We love you. We hope you stay safe. And y'all really need to be washing y'all faces, hands, and asses, and belly buttons, and feet. Like, I'm going to just keep harping on that because, yeah, it's approaching summertime. And you may not be at the beach, but you do need to be clean. Like, for real. It's not cute. It's not funny. Like, hygiene is a thing that you can't avoid anymore. But anyway. So, just going to touch on a couple notes from the draft, man. It was literally the highest watched NFL draft in years, mostly because everybody's forced to be home, so everybody was either streaming it, watching it one way or another. That's excellent. That's fine. Personally, I thought Goodell should have been much more comfortable in his man cave the last couple of days. I would have, for real, pulled up in some flip-flops, some basketball shorts, and a night robe. Like, I would have really made a big deal out of it. Like, look, the first round's over. I don't need to keep dressing up. The second, third round's done. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Let's get this going. But, you know, he looked like one of your friend's dads who's like super regal, probably smokes a pipe in his man cave. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Every man cave is different. It takes on its own personality. Can't knock that. It is what it is. But for real though, I only touched on this a little bit last week, but it kind of amazes me just how many people took L's. Like, whether it was a girlfriend, that one family member who person gets drafted and everyone's looking to shake their hand and hug them. They're standing right there next to the person who got drafted, but the person who gets drafted totally avoids them, like Clayton Thorson did. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Former Northwestern QB. He gets drafted. His brother's standing right there with arms wide open. I'm pretty sure that's a Creed song. You can go Google it if you want. Standing there, arms wide open. He thinks, oh, he's just gonna hug his brother. hugged his fiance or girlfriend. I don't know what the title was. Hugs his girl first, and he thinks, oh, he's going to double back and hug his brother. Nope. Instead, misses his brother again, and then when his brother's standing there like, okay, you're going to eventually hug me, right? Nope. Swerves him twice, hugs somebody else, and then his brother just puts his hand on his chest and goes, ah. Moments like that, that's pretty foul, man. That'll cause some resentment like 20 years down the line when that person's your financial manager and you find out they've been stealing money from you and fucking you over all because you didn't hug them on draft night. So have a list of people you're going to hug on draft night because it could go bad like 20 years from now. You never know. But anyway, on to the draft. A couple articles came out. Pete wrote, I wrote. I'm just going to start with the one I did. Arizona Cardinals. I gave them an A+. I think there's a handful of teams that got A+s in this draft for getting need. Certain guys fell to them at the right time. They filled their draft board out pretty good. Some of the later picks were like, just picking just to pick. Didn't really need it. But I got to say, with who the Arizona Cardinals got, getting Isaiah Simmons at 8, and then because they traded their second-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, that's about as great a second-round pick you can get. You know, they gave away David Johnson, the second-round pick, to get DeAndre Hopkins. Boom, that's it right there. Then you get your third-round pick, you get the tackle out of Houston, Josh Jones, who's incredibly athletic, has great upside, could be a great right tackle. Was pegged as like a first-round pick in some instances. He falls away to the third round. That's great. Then you pick up two great interior defensive linemen, and Lakai Fotu and Rashard Lawrence. Fotu played at Utah, was a grown man amongst boys at that time. Dude 6'5", 330, and you know how Samoans, probably how Polynesians are just built, especially on the defensive line. Dude is big as hell, fast and athletic as hell, strong as hell, and is like the perfect nose tackle for them. So not only you get a pass rushing coverage nightmare, like Isaiah Simmons can do a little bit of everything, and you put him in that defense on the other side of Chandler Jones, that's scary already. Then you re-up in the 4th round to get 2D tackles, and then in the 6th round they got Cal linebacker Evan Weaver, who's pretty much a tackling machine. Now, some people will say, oh, he's slow. He's one of those slow linebackers who gets a lot of tackles and hits people 15 yards downfield. No, not completely. He actually, I think he ran somewhere like the 4.6-8 range, 4.7-ish. He's kind of that around that play speed. He's not slow, just not the fastest. And honestly, his instincts make up for it once you put on the pads and you put on the tape, because he started out as a defensive end and then got moved to linebacker. So he's an effective blitzer, you know, stifling run stuffer, very instinctual, can make plays, has pretty decent hands. At the Senior Bowl, they had chips in people's helmets. So on special teams drills, you could see how fast you were running, top speed, and he got a pretty fast top speed. So, I mean, you can only judge somebody based on the tape. Like, yeah, 40 times don't always correlate to everyone. Like, Alvin Kamara has broken off big runs in his career, but he only ran like in the 4.5s. But his game speed is much faster than the 4.5. Jamal Charles ran, I think, a 4.4, but clearly had 4.3, almost borderline 4.2 speed, because he would break one and then accelerate away from everybody. So when it comes to certain guys, speed is just different across the board. And in my case, the last pick that they got, Eno Benjamin, running back out of Arizona State, Mr. Durable, Mr. Everything for Arizona State. That all the picks they got, easily these guys can make the team. Whether they're backups, there have to be special teams. Weaver could steal a starting spot at middle linebacker. And that defense already is bringing back Patrick Peterson, who had the 8-game suspension for PEDs, but he's still one of the greatest corners of his generation and era. He's so good that teams just don't throw to him. He's literally just withering away athletically. Like, he's such a great player. Teams just don't. They'll just pick on the second corner and the nickel corner all game. They will not throw to Patrick Peterson. And if they do, most of the time it's either an incompletion or an interception. That's why his interception total is kind of so low. Like, this era of defensive backs, and when Pete gets here, I'm going to talk more on the whole Richard Sherman versus Mr. Darrelle Revis, my bad. It's with corners in the past 10 years, because you get teams that pass so much, it's hard to sit up here and say, oh, this guy is the best corner because he got the most interceptions. That's not always true. Like, Richard Sherman has a lot of picks. He was a former wide receiver. He has great ball skills. LSU corner Patrick Peterson, outstanding ball skills. He was an all-pro kick returner as a rookie, but he was so valuable at corner, they didn't want to risk him getting hurt. But he had 4 punt returns for a touchdown. He even was catching passes. At one point, they had to kind of stop it because they didn't want him to get hurt. He had like a 100-yard pick six in the playoff game and got called back because some bogus defensive holding call. Cats like him, they literally consume up about 90% of your game plan because you can't throw in his direction. And if he gets safety help, then you're really screwed. It's almost impossible to throw at corners like that. Like Darrelle Revis, he could lock up your best player. You got Richard Sherman. Yeah, he's a zone corner. If you put him on somebody's really fast on him, he's going to have problems because he's not that fast. And also, speaking of people who aren't that fast.
Oh, wow. Clearly, we're just coming for the shots right out the get-go, huh?
And clearly had way too much fun on their birthday.
Not even. I just have bad allergies.
Damn. Well, it's Pete Camarillo. Trying not to die from a bloody nose. I know the feeling.
Let me tell you one thing. Anything you can do in this world, if you want to up the degree of difficulty, do it with a bloody nose.
Yeah.
Like, literally anything. Anything you could possibly imagine, just throw a bloody nose into it. Like, oh, you cleaned $4.95. Great. Now do it with the bloody nose. Like,
oh,
I ate 20 burgers. All right, cool. Do it with the fucking bloody nose.
Oh, wait, I got one. Oh, you're trying to take a math test? Cool, do it with the bloody nose. Teacher looks at your paper like, what the fuck? Did you have ketchup in your pocket?
But yeah, today was one of those days where it was like, time was allotted perfectly. And then when I was taking a shower, I got a bloody nose and just made everything go a lot longer. And that's why I'm late. But yeah, what I miss, Kenny?
Pretty much talked about how Roger Goodell's man cave could have been better, but, you know, everybody's man cave is different.